Hey, Untangled Viners, welcome back to another weekly report. This is where we discuss the trending headlines and the things that are happening in the future of work. And today we are talking about an article published by TechCo, written by Adam Rowe. And the title of the article is AI and the Future of Productivity at Work 2024 Statistics. So we're going to just dive straight into it. If you're new to this, the Future of Work Weekly Report is where we try to find interesting articles related to the future of work, and then we break them down and give our insights and opinions on them as well. So the first highlight is really just a run through of statistics. And so this is what we're going to be talking about throughout the article recap. So 56% of businesses report high productivity levels. 72% of respondents who use AI extensively report high organizational productivity. 80% of businesses using 7 collaboration tools reported high organizational productivity. I'm going to give my opinion on that. So stay tuned. 46% of business leaders said communication technology will highly affect performance in 2024. This is where Grapevine will come in. And then just a quote that we wanted to talk about here was boosting productivity isn't about forcing workers to work harder or longer hours. So the reason that I wanted to touch on this quote is that this article is really tapping into the beyond return to office, beyond the traditional 9 to 5 approach that we're used to. So this is very forward thinking, and that's what we want whenever it comes to reporting on the future of work. So let's go ahead and dive into the meat of the article, starting with highlight number 2. So whenever they were looking at this article and creating it, they wanted to really look into what is the future of productivity. And they said, let's start with what everybody is talking about, which is AI. And then more specifically in this article, AI productivity. So the stats in this section says 72% of respondents who use AI extensively report higher organizational productivity, compared to 55% of respondents who use AI to a limited extent. So the question that they ask here is AI actually as useful as it claims? And according to this article and the respondents of this article, they say that AI extensively being used in an organization is 72%. They report 72% of high productivity. And just to clarify what that actually means is based out of the people that they surveyed for this article and this report, they found that the sweet spot is companies who use AI extensively. So it's not AI all the time, but it's a factor of probably how we use Grapevine here, or how we use AI at Grapevine here. So just to put it in perspective, I'll explain how we use it, and then you guys can tell me, does that make sense as extensively, or is that moderately, or whatever the case is. So here at Grapevine, it's myself. We have a team of developers, so around 6 or 7 people, and then we have a founding advisor. So we're a small team building a pretty big platform. And so the way that I specifically use AI is, let's say that I'm preparing our marketing plan for the quarter. And within that marketing content that I say that I need to create, I leverage AI to help me write articles that are specifically SEO focused. And so I'll use AI to help put in the information, like, here's the details of Grapevine. This is how we're different compared to XYZ. And then this is what our goal is with the article. And then it will spit out something. But with every single thing that we post or that we upload to our website or LinkedIn, we will use AI and we'll review what AI spits out to us. and we'll make sure that it's in our brand voice. We'll make sure that it's in our SEO specific related topics and keywords. And then we'll make sure that anything that is being said is with a forward thinking thought process or thought leadership approach, right? And so that's one example of how we will use AI. The other is whenever it comes to writing captions. So whenever it comes to captions, we use Buffer, and then we also post directly on LinkedIn. So whenever it comes to those captions, I will tell AI what it is that we're about to share, what my goals are again, and then what the call to action should be for this specific piece of content that we're sharing. Same thing whenever it comes to podcast descriptions or YouTube descriptions. Again, we'll use that with AI to help us get to a certain point, and then we'll always review it and make sure that it's on brand, make sure that it has SEO related keywords and things of that nature. The other part of what I really like to use AI for, I'm a strategy and operations person at heart, who loves business and technology, and so whenever it comes to a product launch or a feature launch or any types of things where like normally you would use your leadership team. Luckily, I have a great founding advisor, and now I'm a part of a technology startup community, which I really love. We'll tell you about it whenever it goes live to the public. But now I'm able to use those as well, bounce off ideas, but I still mainly stick to the AI portion of it. So if I want to create a marketing campaign specifically targeted to remote and hybrid organizations that are looking for XYZ. So we have a company social intranet that's very different than any other tool that we've seen out there in the market. So how can we take the traditional intranet that is boring, it's stagnant, like nobody really uses it, and then say, hey, here's a new version. It's almost like a social media platform, but specifically for your company. And how can we put that into a campaign that really reaches our ICP? So we put all that in there. And then I say, okay, can you give me a structure of what the content would look like? Or can you give me a way to do blah, 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 right? I know that was very prestigious in the way I explained that, but that's another way that we use it. And so I would say that we highly not depend on AI, but we look at AI as a partner in our development. And speaking of development, I know that whenever it comes to analyzing scope of work or analyzing how many hours a specific feature will take, and then we track that towards we're working on implementing Dora metrics, but we haven't implemented them just yet for our development team. But we're looking at those overall things and leveraging it there, as well as helping it do like code reviews, helping us produce code and different things like that. That's more on the development side, so I won't get too granular in there. But that's extensively to us. Now, what was surprising here is actually, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Let's not wait for it, right? So let me go ahead and share my screen right here, and I'll show you I think we can see that. Okay, so we're looking at not at all, which we see 51%. So that's the lowest. So if you're not using AI in today's working world, you are missing out on a chance of 21% increase in productivity if you use it extensively. But what was surprising to me is that if you're using it fully, you're actually less productive. Now, they didn't necessarily call out why, but let's see. AI tools are fully integrated and extensively used throughout our organization, playing a central role in our daily activities, decision-making processes, and innovation efforts. They are a core component of our operations and strategy. I don't know if maybe if you're working fully with AI, that maybe some things get overlooked, or this kind of goes back to my operation days, which is still now, where if you automate something and then you make a big mistake on accident, right? Obviously, nobody makes a mistake on purpose, but whenever you make a mistake because of the automation, it's not just a one mistake here or even five mistakes here. It's at a 10x rate. Depending on the automation, it could be even higher than that, right? And so maybe that's what I'm thinking here. So what this is really calling out in the world of productivity and alignment to artificial intelligence, extensively, kind of like what we do here at Grapevine, is going to be the most productive from what we see here, right? So let's go ahead and move on to highlight number 3. So whenever it comes to highlight number 3, we're talking about productive collaboration. Now, I have some thoughts here, and I'd love to get your opinions in the comments, because one of the reasons that we do these videos is because we really want feedback. Our goal is I mean, obviously, as a founder, startup investing a lot of money in building a product, we want to sell and have customers. But the reality is, I believe in our mission so strongly. And our mission, just a reminder for anybody or a first timer listen to the future of work on this episode, is Grapevine's mission is to make work more flexible, inclusive, and fulfilling for everyone. And so whenever it comes to making work better, that is what we're trying to do at Grapevine. But let's go ahead and dive into what this is saying here. So the statistics on this specific highlight, productive collaboration, is 80% of businesses using 7 collaboration tools reported high organizational productivity. Just 46% of respondents using 1 collaboration tool reported high organizational productivity. This to me I mean, it's great to read that these collaboration tools are really helping, but my first thought is, how can we consolidate things? As an operations person and as a finance person, even, is like, whenever you read 7 collaboration tools, especially if they're SaaS, which most likely they are, if you're a large organization, or even maybe even more if you're a small organization, if you have 7 collaboration tools, one, I think you're doing something wrong. Like, this is just my opinion. But like, if you need 7 collaboration tools to get the work done, I don't understand how that could actually be more productive. What I think the issue truly is not that you need more collaboration tools. I think that the issue is that the collaboration tools are not actually fulfilling the entire need of the company, right? And after this one, we're going to talk about communication tools too, but that's why, I mean, one of the things that we do at Grapevine is we are consolidating a lot of tools that people use in their organization to get stuff done and to communicate, right? So we have an intranet, we have a real-time chat feature like Slack, but it's ours. You have a knowledge management system that you can search and find your knowledge management. You can create your knowledge management documents directly in Grapevine, and you can manage your documents and applications in Grapevine. Why do you need so many collaboration tools? And if you do need so many collaboration tools, then you're really going to need Grapevine, because we can either integrate or we can store where you find those and locate them and then go into those. So we work with not we work, but we have a good relationship with Ali Green, the one of the authors of Remote Works. Definitely check it out if you haven't. But we're starting to build a good relationship with her, and she was saying that Grapevine is kind of like the door into the working world, where if you want to get somewhere in your organization, you go into Grapevine, and then it opens a door into a different application, right? So that's another thing, but I don't want to make this all about Grapevine. but yeah, I'm kind of concerned about the 7 collaboration tools, but I get it at the same time, because you do have a lot of teams that might be working in different tools, right? So I know, for example, one of the companies that we might work with in the future is a department is using Notion, another department is using Coda. Some of the people in the organization are using GChat. Other people in the organization are using Slack. They have Zendesk, Salesforce, HubSpot, all these places, right? And so, like, I understand that you have these collaboration tools for your specific departments and specific needs, but that increases the need for a tool like Grapevine to consolidate where you find, store, locate, and share information and knowledge with those collaboration tools. So, and I mean, the other thing that really motivates me with Grapevine is that, like, all these different tools have different ways to communicate and collaborate. But what that means is that you have a team over here communicating and collaborating, separate from this team over here communicating and collaborating, separate from this team over here communicating and collaborating. And that actually causes silos and misalignment, miscommunication, duplicative work. So get a central hub or virtual headquarters, or what we call a virtual office platform like Grapevine, to consolidate your communications and your tools and your knowledge, so everybody in the organization stays on track and aligned with one another. Selfish plug. If you're interested to learn more, reach out to us today. Link in the bio. Okay. So just the quote here, let's see what they say. So when it comes to business collaboration technology, it seems many cooks don't spoil the broth. And we've given our insights there, but we also recommend that if you have all those collaboration tools, you still need a way to communicate to the entire community or company, and build community, actually, and all those different things too, especially remote and hybrid teams. So Grapevine there. Now let's go ahead and go to the chart for this one so we can discuss that one. So here we go. So this one says, this is just showing the collaboration tools that they have. So it's fairly self-explanatory, but and I should mention that this article is self-reported. So it's more so that TechCo asked employees or business leaders in the organization, how many tools do you use? And then how productive do you feel? So let's see, percentage of respondents who reported high organizational productivity split by number of collaboration tools. So this is how productive they felt: 68%, 80%, 67, so on and so forth. And then how many tools that they have. So you can see that it does seem that in this article, the more collaboration tools that you have, the better. And we shouldn't be hating on that, because that means that you can still adopt Grapevine while also having these others. But I would say that, like, Grapevine is more of a company communication and collaboration tool to make sure that everybody's on the same page, which is almost more important in our opinion. So now you got to look at that. Let's go ahead and go to, I think it's highlight number 4. So highlight number 4 is collaboration tools beat communication tools. But don't let that fool you, because the next highlight is going to kind of contradict that in a sense. But so yeah, only 32% of companies using one communication tool reported high organizational productivity. And then 46% of business leaders said communication technology will highly affect performance in 2024. So what that's really saying is, okay, you have it says only 32% of companies using one communication tool reported higher organizational productivity. 46% of business leaders said communication technology will highly affect. So basically what they're saying there is that even though collaboration tools beat communication tools in productivity, self-reported productivity, business leaders say that communication technology is going to be highly dependent or effective on the performance in 2024. And that's where I go back to Grapevine being that centralized platform, that company social intranet mixed with all the other applications that we have within our own app, right? So you'll be able to simplify everything that is involved for communications to the entire company, including knowledge management, document management, employee directory, employee profiles, community section, you name it, we got it. Human resources portal. And that's how I look at communication tools, right? Like if you're only using Slack or you're only using Zoom, then this is specifically going to remote and hybrid organizations. If you're only using those, then you are not really doing your employees or your culture or your company justice, right? Because there are better ways out there now than just a text field format. Not to disrespect Slack. Like I've used it. It's been a great tool. You can see it on my screen if that part is showing. But the reason that we're building Grapevine is because Slack only did so much for remote and hybrid organization. And there's a lot of different little ins and outs that a lot of people don't talk about, like searching and finding. Good luck on that. Or uploading and downloading documents just to have them, right? Instead of uploading and downloading, now you can add a document to Grapevine, you can share it in Grapevine, and then you can find it and save it for later in Grapevine. Like there's just an easier way, and we've built it. So, okay. Enough about that. Let's look at the quote for highlight number 4. If a successful organization is staying stripped down, the single collaboration tool appears to promote a more successful team of workers than a single communication tool. But what I want to call out here is that's because a single communication tool doesn't do everything that it should until now. And if we haven't piqued your interest on learning more about Grapevine, hopefully that will. Because I think all of these things, like 7 collaboration tools, I get it because of different departments, but how do you communicate as an entire company, especially if you're distributed, right? People are working at different times, people are working on different things. You got to have that one place to call home. And then whenever it says they're more successful team than on a single communication tool, that's because your single communication tool doesn't do everything that Grapevine does, right? So it's a mixture of all that. And if you don't have that, then you really need to look into that. Okay, so now we are going to the final highlight here. And the final highlight is company performance. So the statistics in this one is going to be 46% of business leaders said communication technology will highly affect performance in 2024. We talked about that. But then let me see, this is not showing here. So let me just, okay. So only 11% envision communication related technology having a very low effect on their operations in 2024. So basically what they're saying is if you don't have a communication tool, it's going to affect your performance pretty high. So that's still showing the significant importance of having communication tools. And what I would even say is communication tools that connect directly to your collaboration tools, which is what Grapevine is building right now, right? And so let's just look at the statistics. Bear with me because these types of Charts always get me confused. But you can see here, so if we're looking at communication technology, so that's going to be these orange/yellow colored right here. So very low effect is 11%, and then very high effect is 17%. Now, in my opinion, what this is saying is that the communication tool that you choose to use in your organization is going to have a very high effect on productivity outcomes in your organization. So it's very important that you focus on that, and that being a key aspect of your tool stack whenever it comes to working remotely and hybrid. And then just the last thing that I want to call out here is this last one. So it says, finally, as our full report found, other key areas that can impact an organization are remote working options, which correlate with higher levels of productivity and easier staff hiring. So, like I said, I wanted to keep it short today. I wanted to go straight into the details, explain how we're thinking about it. And we'd also love to get your comments on this. How many collaboration tools are you using in your organization? Do you think it's too much? Do you think it's too little? What is missing? And then also, if you are using a tool like Slack or Zoom Chat or G Chat or any other tool out there that we haven't, MS Teams, let us know what you love about that. And then let us know what you don't like about that. And lastly, if you found anything that we said about Grapevine interesting and you want to learn more for your remote and hybrid organization to enhance communication and collaboration, feel free to reach out to us. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next Future of Work Weekly Report.